From artwork that can be seen from space to an ancient city dubbed the 8th wonder of the world, I'm Bob from World 5 List, and here are 6 of the most amazing unexplained artifacts in the world. Number 6. The Nazca Lines. In 1930, a perplexing series of geoglyphs etched into the sand was discovered off the coast of Peru, in the desert plains of the Rio Grande de Nasca River basin, one of the driest places on Earth, by the way. Known as the Nazca Lines, they date back to 200 BC and occupy an area of land that's roughly 170 square miles. The Nazca Lines feature thousands of representations of plants and animals. Now, some of these geoglyphs are massive, measuring up to 1,200 feet long, and some are designed more puzzling than others. Researchers can only speculate about their meanings, and included among them are straight lines, some of which measure up to 30 miles long, and hundreds of geometric designs. Based on their gigantic size, scientists believe they were meant to be seen from the sky. So, were they meant for the gods, or maybe ancient aliens? Geoglyphs created by the Nazca people have continued to be discovered in recent years. Peruvian archaeologists announced in 2018 that they had discovered more than 50 new geoglyphs in the region, which were found using advanced drone technology. The mystery surrounding the designs has more to do with why they were created rather than how, and scientists are pretty sure that they were formed by removing the top 12 to 15 inches of rock from the desert floor, which is covered in a layer of rust-colored iron oxide pebbles. However, the Nazca people lacked a written language, and therefore they left no record behind about the meaning of the geoglyphs. Arguably, the most credible theory about the purpose of the lines is that they were created in an effort to persuade the gods to provide rain. This theory is backed up by the presence of animal depictions, symbolizing things like water, fertility, and, like I said, rain. Researchers argued in 2015 that the purposes have changed over time. As things currently stand, nobody knows for sure. Number 5. The Sacsayhuaman Walls. Near the modern-day Peruvian city of Cuzco, the historical capital of the Inca Empire, a series of walls has puzzled scientists and sparked debate ever since their discovery. The walls are located among the ruins of an ancient citadel known as Sacsayhuaman. Easy to remember, right? Which sits at over 12,000 feet above sea level. At the site, there are 3 concentric walls, each averaging about 360 meters in length and 6 meters in height. The walls were constructed with large limestone blocks that weigh about 300 tons each, which would be kinda difficult to move in place even with gigantic modern machinery. No mortar or cement of any kind was used to bind blocks together. Instead, they were carved and placed with such precision and accuracy that not even a knife blade will fit between 2 blocks, something that today's scientists and engineers have struggled to replicate even on a smaller scale. Archaeological research has shown that the Sacsayhuaman may have been occupied as early as an entire millennium ago, making it one of the oldest ancient establishments. Scientists still struggle to understand how these gargantuan and flawless structures were built in the absence of modern technology, and in 2014, researcher and author Derek Cunningham put forth the theory that the angles formed by the wall's blocks were astronomical in nature, based on things like lunar and solar eclipses, as well as the alignment of the sun, Earth, and Moon. On one hand, it's not surprising. It's a well-established fact that the Incans possessed advanced astronomical knowledge, so Dr. Cunningham's theory is questionable. However, it's because it connects the creation of the Sacsayhuaman walls with ancient artifacts from China, Africa, and Europe that suggests that the walls were designed using language based on the motions of the moon and the sun that were created some 30,000 years ago. A hypothesis that hasn't been proven and remains largely hypothetical. In addition to their impressive astronomical knowledge, the Incans were also master stonemasons, so it is possible that modern researchers may be underestimating the ancient civilization's capabilities, and that the walls were built by way of good old-fashioned hard work and close attention to detail. Number 4. The Pyrus Reese Map. A map discovered in Istanbul in 1929 proved to be anything but ordinary upon further examination. Written on gazelle skin parchment, it was traced back to Pyrus Reese, a well-documented cartographer and admiral of the Ottoman Turkish Navy. The map was drawn by Reese in 1513, featuring Europe, North America, South America, and several islands, such as the Azores and the Canaries. According to some researchers, it also depicts a version of Antarctica that existed before the continent was covered in ice. The last time that it wasn't was 6,000 years ago. Moreover, Antarctica wasn't discovered until nearly 300 years after the creation of the map. So, if the landform in question is indeed Antarctica, how did Pyrus Reese know about its existence in the first place, let alone its prehistoric topography? Things get even more weird from there, because in 1965, Professor Charles Hapgood of the University of New Hampshire noticed that the map was drawn using Mercator projection, a method that wasn't used by European cartographers until the late 16th century. It is possible that his use of projection was inspired by the Greek maps that he had as references, although that lacked accuracy until the creation of the chronometer in 1760. But this doesn't explain Antarctica's presence on the map. Professor Hapgood introduced the theory of the map having been created based on knowledge passed down from sophisticated civilizations that possessed exceptional navigational and charting abilities. Another theory states that the landmass resembling Antarctica is actually the lower portion of South America, because on the map, the continent thought by many to be Antarctica is connected to South America, which indicates the possibility that it had been mistakenly identified by scholars. Hapgood combated this idea by pointing out that it was once customary for cartographers to exaggerate the sizes of coastlines, all for the sake of making details visible, causing coastal accuracy to be overlooked and land masses to appear inaccurately close to one another. The map features a mythical island called Antillia, and perhaps it's not the map's only imaginary feature. For now, Captain James Cook's 1773 expedition into the Antarctic Circle marks the official discovery of Antarctica, and its alleged appearance on the Pyrus Reese map remains shrouded in mystery. Number 3. The Bolshoi Zayatsky Labyrinths. Some of history's most confounding artifacts were actually discovered in northern Russia on an island called Bolshoi Zayatsky. As far back as 3000 BC, residents built villages and sacred sites on the island, including an irrigation system. Along with several of its surrounding islands, Bolshoi Zayatsky was covered in a large pile of boulders, which contained bones, places of worships, and petroglyphs. The small island, which has a total area of about 1 square mile, contains the highest concentration of ancient labyrinths in the world. Using rows of boulders, the labyrinths were constructed in the shapes of spirals, with each one having a door, which was used both as an entrance and an exit. Nobody really knows who built them or why, but they're estimated to date back to 3000 BC, and beyond that, experts can't seem to agree on much. One theory holds that the labyrinths were used for trapping fish. Water levels were a lot higher 5,000 years ago, which makes it plausible, but skeptics have expressed doubt based on the existence of inland labyrinths throughout other parts of the world. Some researchers lean more toward astronomical purposes, with the theory stating that the labyrinths were a schematic reflection of the moon and the sun's orbits, while others suggest that it symbolized a border between Earth and the underworld, and that they may have been used for funeralistic rituals. Unfortunately, it seems as though even the experts can do little more than just guess. Number 2. The Baghdad Battery. This battery is also known as the Parthian Battery, and it's a device consisting of 3 artifacts that were found together in modern-day Iraq. Its components consist of a 5.5-inch tall terracotta pot, a tube of copper, and an iron rod. Some researchers have hypothesized that the Baghdad Battery functioned as a galvanic cell, or an early form of an electric battery that may have been used for electroplating or electrotherapy of sorts. Others believe that it was a storage vessel for sacred scrolls. Additionally, the date of origin is unknown, but it's guessed to be from about 250 BC to AD 224. Evidence for this date range is weak, though, and the original excavation of the item was not well recorded. Moreover, the style of the jar is more characteristic of the Sassanid period, which occurred between 224 and 640. Put simply, little's known about the Baghdad Battery, including its age and the details that revolve around the discovery, along with its purpose. Number 1. Nan Madol. Adjacent to the eastern shore of Pohnpei, an island within the Federated States of Micronesia, located in the western Pacific Ocean, lies the archaeological site of an ancient city called Nan Madol. The site consists of around 100 man-made islands made of huge basalt rock, along with a series of canals. By today's standards, it would be an impressive feat to quarry, transport, and place the rocks that the islands are made of. And not only do archaeologists wonder how the construction was completed, they're unsure of the city's purpose and know very little about the people who built it. In fact, the mysteries that surround the city have earned the nicknames like Atlantis, Venice of the Pacific, and the Eighth Wonder of the World. And in 1926, writer James Churchward proposed that the city was part of a lost continent named Mu, which was also known as Lemuria. Author and publisher David Hatcher Childress made the same suggestion, and it's unlikely that either of the two were correct because Lemuria's existence has been largely discredited by modern science, and the mythical continent has become more of a pop culture legend. To this day, there's not enough verifiable knowledge about the city's origins to know how it was constructed or who the people really were that inhabited it. Thanks for watching! How did you like this video, and what did you think about these unexplained artifacts? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time on World 5.